Chris, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. You?
I am good. So what time is it for you now?
That's a good question. It's 2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, so you are in China right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Shenzhen, China.
Oh, great. I'm in Turkey. It's 9:30 a.m. That's
Oh,
interesting then.
okay. Okay,
Difference.
that's not too bad. Because I didn't think you were in America. Because if you're in America, it's like 2:30 a.m. Yeah, so I was thinking that
Right.
when I saw the times for the meeting, normally people want to book them with me either like 11 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Right. For me, it's not that bad. I just stay until 6 p.m. to have a US calls. But for you, I guess it has to be midnight.
Yeah, mine's pretty much like between 12 and 15 hours time difference with the US. So
Yeah, just exactly on the sleep time for the east
yeah.
side. Yeah. So I called you today to chat about the event that you're running, a Meetup, and I'll share my screen a little bit to tell people who you are if they're watching. You know, you run this Meetup called FBA4U, which is in China.
Yeah.
And I will be personally speaking at two events in China, two summits that are basically, one is before your event and one is right after your event. So it's just very nicely fits in between. So one is called Cross Border Summit and the other one is Global Sources Summit.
Yeah,
So,
I'm very good friends with both of these organisers. So
oh yeah, okay. So
I was
yeah,
literally just talking to Megla from Global Sources Summit like 1 minute before I start talking to you.
seriously? Oh, say hi. Yeah, so basically I was invited to be speaker on both this year. And then one of the other speakers recommended reaching out to you, you know, and seeing what the meetup is about. Because then I could convince a lot of people from one summit or the other to come and see your meetup together, you know, like take all of those friends with me and come to yours. So could you tell me more about what it is, why did it start, and why are you making it?
Yeah, sure. So basically, back in I'll just go back a little bit to 2012. So I was working for a company in the UK, and that was basically a headphone and speaker manufacturer. And in late 2011, I told my boss at the time that I was getting a divorce. He knew my wife, and a few days later, one of the company directors come to me and he said, "Oh, I heard you're getting a divorce." I said, "Yeah, that's right." He said, "You haven't got any kids, have you?" I said, "No." "How do you feel about moving to China for a year?" I'm like, "Sure, when can I go?" So basically I came out to China to work for this company that I was working for in the UK, actually for a very long time. I worked from them from when I left school. When I left that company, I'd actually been there for 29 years. That's telling you how old I am. But, and so I was basically there, and I was running the sourcing department in China for them. And it got to like the last year I was there. So I left in September 2015. So I was like in sort of from September 2014, I was kind of sitting at my desk and I was feeling a bit bored. I was feeling like, oh, I was only supposed to be there for a year, and I was feeling like, either this company's going to get rid of me or they're going to send me back to England. And I'm like, I don't really want to go back to England. So I was sitting there with my headphones on. We're a speaker and headphone brand, like high end. Sitting there with my headphones on, started listening to podcasts. And basically, at that time, there wasn't really any podcasts about Amazon at all, which kind of might shock people now. 2014, I couldn't find any podcasts about Amazon. But I found like one entrepreneurial podcast that mentioned someone who was doing Amazon FBA. And I'd actually been selling on eBay and Amazon before I left the UK since the late 1990s. Actually, I've been selling on eBay and Amazon since 2007, but like not professionally, you know, just like I was selling and we were buying stuff secondhand, selling it. And so basically I heard this podcast, and there was this guy in Belgium. I still remember it. I can't remember which podcast it was. And he was basically saying that, you know, he was selling on Amazon FBA, and he'd never been to China, he'd never been to America, and he was doing $30,000 a month. And I'm like, wow, I'm like a sourcing manager. I'm sitting here in China. Yeah, I really need to take advantage of my position. Yeah, and start like looking for something to sell on Amazon. So basically what I started doing was I started to design my own product. But at this time, you mentioned Canton Fair. Canton Fair is like the world's biggest commodity exhibition. It's in Guangzhou, China. I'd been to Canton Fair like every phase while I'd been living in China from 2012 all the way through 2015. And I was thinking, wow, there must be Amazon sellers coming to Canton Fair to look for products. So how about I put something on Facebook and say, hey, anyone coming to Canton Fair who's an Amazon seller want to meet up for a beer? And that was pretty much what it was. Yeah. So I did that. And there was like 2 guys replied to me, and there was like 3 of us sitting there having a beer together. And I was like, oh, you sell on Amazon? No. You sell on Amazon? No. How about you? No, I don't sell on Amazon either. So there was like 3 of us there, all don't sell on Amazon. And basically that's how the event started. And then I just carried on doing it, and it's just grown and grown and grown. I mean, the last time we had over 600 people over the 2, we put it on in Canton Fair split into phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And we put it on in phase 2 and phase 3. It's totally free. And basically, we had about, more than 600 people there over the 2 events last time in April. So.
Wow. So are you saying your event is in the same building as Canton Fair is?
No. It's not in the same building. It's just on at the same time. So some guys in America who've been to my event, who I met up with the other day, they called it, it's the Canton Fair happy hour, was what they called it. Yeah. It's not quite a happy hour, but it starts at 7. It supposedly finishes at 11:30. I've had people sending me messages the next day blaming me for missing Canton Fair because they got too drunk and ended up in the nightclub next to That's a whole different story. It's not at Canton Fair.
So how do the dates work out? Let me check. I am curious about 2 things, dates and location. So in terms of location, Global Sources Summit is in Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, so the other one, Cross Border Summit, is in Shenzhen, I think. Is that right?
No, that's in Guangzhou.
In Guangzhou. Okay.
Yeah.
So
everything's in Guangzhou, so apart from the Global Sources Summit. So.
All right. So there it is. There's the 2. So Guangzhou is here and Hong Kong is here. Okay. So how many hours is from here to here?
It's around 2 hours. Yeah. I mean, there's many different ways to get there. There's the new high-speed train from Hong Kong, but that goes to Guangzhou South. I feel like I want to point on your map. I don't know if you can see under Guangzhou, it says Panyu.
Yes,
so the high-speed train goes to Panyu, which is kind of like about 50 minutes outside of Guangzhou. So you still need to either get a taxi from there or you need to get the metro. There's another option from Hong Kong to Guangzhou, which is a slower train, which takes 2 hours, but takes you sort of right into where it says Tianhe. I don't know if you can see that to the right of the Guangzhou word. It says Tianhe, it looks like.
All right,
Tianhe. Yeah, there. So that other train takes you to there, which is obviously pretty central.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much still recommending to people that they take the slower train from Hong Kong to there, because the faster train's a lot more complicated if you're not familiar with it. So.
Right. So it's kind of cool because my own manufacturers are also in Guangzhou city. So and just from around the province, somewhere here, and the freight forwarder is from Shenzhen. So it's gonna be a super nice trip for me. It's my first time in China, and then I get to meet my sourcing agent, and we can take a tour, and I may bring her to the meetup as well.
Yeah, sure.
You know, dates now, how dates work out. So it's October 22, 23, that is the Cross Border Summit. And then the Global Sources is 27th. So which date is your event?
25th.
25th. So that means there is a few extra days. And then there's your event. And then we have 1 extra day to conveniently travel back to Hong Kong for that. Oh, yeah. This is great.
Basically, Canton Fair runs from the 23rd to the 27th, phase 2 of Canton Fair. Okay. So our event is like right in the middle of phase 2 and right in the middle of phase 3.
And
on
Canton
purpose.
Fair is in Guangzhou?
Canton Fair is in Guangzhou, yeah. If you're coming to Guangzhou, you should definitely go to Canton Fair, yeah. It's the world's biggest commodity exhibition.
Okay, great. So all at the same time, that means it's a very good idea to first come and hang out here. We attend this event, then go there, and then go to Hong Kong. This is great.
Actually, if you go to our website and you go to exhibitions, the tab exhibitions,
right?
It's right at the top there. And basically this lists out all the exhibitions that are on around this area. So if you scroll down to October, yeah, you can see like the first one's the 11th of October, the Global Sources Electronics Show, and then you got Phase 1 Canton Fair, etc., etc. You can see like a very clear overview. There's a lot of exhibitions, like 5-week period of exhibitions, basically.
Cool. I'm in apparel, so I guess are they sorted by categories? And apparel and accessories.
I can tell you, you want to go to Phase 3 of Canton Fair, which is will be in November. Start on November the 1st, I think.
Okay. What about accessories like purses and bags? Anything in October?
That'll be. I think there might be a little bit of that in Phase 2 for like bags. But Phase 3 is where the majority of the purses, bags, clothes, all that sort of stuff is. But at Global Sources, when you're there for Global Sources Summit, there is fashion, Global Sources Fashion, which is on at the same time, which is a smaller exhibition. That'll be running downstairs while you're upstairs speaking. So it's a perfect opportunity. You can go down there when you get a break.
This is amazing. This is great. I sell dresses and I sell a lot of accessories like purses and things, and I do bundles with that. So, this is great. I love it. I'm super excited. So I'll stay 2 weeks in China, and it'll be really awesome. So, how much does it cost to attend your event?
It's free. It's free.
It's free? So what's your motivation behind doing it free? That it seems like 600 people attend, so there must be something in it.
Well, actually, everyone kept telling me for the last like 3 or 4 years, oh, you got to monetize this, you got to monetize this, you got to monetize this. But the only way we monetize it is to get some sponsors, which maybe we spam you a little bit later with some details about them. But apart from that, my motivation is only to meet other cool people like you, so I'm like honored to know most of the like high level influencers in the Amazon world. And so like if I've ever got a question or ever got a problem, like I can just send someone a message directly, like Kevin King or something like that. I just send him a message because I met them. They come to my event. Yeah. So,
yeah, this is great. Yeah. Hi, Kevin, if you're watching. Cool. So, what's your, so you are a seller, right? So what is your core business? Like, how do you make money in life? What's your core business?
I totally make money from Amazon selling. So back in 2015, when I started out, I designed my own first product, and I was working in sourcing, like I said, and I was also working in new product development, and I was working with engineers, quality people, industrial designers every day. And so basically I just came up with my own product idea and then went about to design it, and then went to the factory and sourced it. Went to the factory and had development meetings with them about how I wanted it to look, what I wanted it to do, and ordered like 1,000 pieces and basically sent it into Amazon. And 3 weeks later, it had sold out and was out of stock for the next 4 months. And I was like, okay, I'm onto something, yeah. But and for the next couple of years, I carried on doing that, but I was like, I could only design like maybe 4 or 5 products a year. And in the last year or so, I like employed industrial designer, and that's really helped me like get on top of getting my big list of products that I had from my design ideas out into fruition. And now we've got around 60, I think, or 70 SKUs, something like that.
Oh, great. It must be convenient to live in China right there, you know, when you can go touch the product, see the place, and then things like that. So,
Yeah,
oh,
for sure. I mean, that's something people like ask me quite often. Like when you look on, like say you're buying from Alibaba, when you look on Alibaba, you might see three products and they pretty much all look the same.
all
But when
right.
you actually go to the factory or get the samples in your hand, you find, oh, like, one of them's just like far superior to the rest,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the factories is maybe far better than other factories. So
Very interesting. So, what's the source from Asia? Is this company still going?
actually, yeah, I was just looking at that. I need to change that. We're kind of not doing that anymore. So
No? Okay. So, you
basically,
used to?
when I left my company, because my background was sourcing, as well as starting an Amazon business, I also started a sourcing company. And I decided that was a real pain in the ass. Most of the people didn't know what the hell they wanted. Uh,
Right.
so I killed it off basically. Probably about I actually outsourced it maybe like 3 years ago, and then like I completely killed it off like maybe 1.5 years ago now. So
Oh, so I feel you're just in the perfect moment now to create something new in the niche of Amazon. Just about, I can tell that that's like building up or something. You know, you have a lot of nice people coming to the meetup. It might be an option to either partner up with someone or like mastermind with people about that next thing that you are thinking about. Are you thinking about
yeah.
something?
All the time. I'm a person who's got far too many ideas, but I also am a person that I know I need to be focused. So, maybe some of the ideas that people come to me with can make much more money than what I'm doing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of would like to sell one of my Amazon brands, but I don't feel it's at the right point to sell it yet because I've got two different brands and both of them are still like growing quite rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I don't feel like it's the right time to sell it. And like for the brand that I'm thinking of selling, I had like a suite of products that I had on my whiteboard that I wanted to design that were all complementary. And literally I've got the samples of the last one in this whole suite of like about 15 or 20 products downstairs. So I figure by like the Q1 of next year, I'll have the whole suite complete. And then I think I need at least like 6 months sales before I think to sell it. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I
What?
mean, I'd like to do training, to be truthful, because I don't think there's many people out there that are designing their own stuff. But I think there's loads of people that are sitting at desks all over the world that are like super talented and designing things for other people who
Right.
could just be designing their own stuff and making a lot of money. So,
Yeah. Can I ask you one question? Because you are in China, you know, and I have a lot of problems with living in Turkey and having to do freight forwarding and storing and resolving the issue with the long-term storage fees. So I have to use third-party external warehouses somewhere. So how have
mhm.
you solved your own storage problems? Do you keep more? Do you keep some of the stock back in China and you don't ship everything, or like, is there anything like that that you do?
um, Sometimes, but actually, what we do in the UK and the US, we've got third-party logistics companies that we use. We keep most of our stock at their warehouse,
In
and
US?
we actually, yeah, in the US and UK. So UK for Europe and US for the US, obviously.
Right.
And we basically do small shipments from there every week into Amazon. Um,
Mm,
so
okay.
we pretty much keep all of our stock in them warehouses.
This is
Um,
great.
we
In
do
your
keep some in China, but not very often. Only if I've got something I've ordered that I think is not selling very well now, or it's going to sell slower, and I don't want to move all the stock. Or maybe it's a new product, and I don't know whether it's going to sell in Europe or the US faster.
Mhm.
And so I'll send some to the US, some to the UK, and then wait for some results to come about so I can decide where to send the balance.
Right. Because yeah, it's a good idea to keep it in an external warehouse. Because especially for my product, imagine I have purses that are big but cheap to sell, and then I have to order minimum 300 or 500 units to get it produced, right? So and they sell like 1 a day, 2 a day. It's not like, you know, there's millions of purses available. So I can't like keep all of that stock at Amazon. So really looking into solutions now, like you have it set up, you know, you're saying every 2 weeks you keep shipping from the third-party warehouse. It's nice.
Yeah, that's the way we've been doing it now. It was originally Amazon's changing their fees in the fourth quarter that pushed me to do that. But one thing that came out of that, which at the time I hadn't thought about, was the fact that I kept running out of stock. And like I said to you, all of my products, the sales were growing. So every time I ordered them, I ordered more than I ordered the last time, but it was never quite enough. Yeah. And they'd arrive, and I think I'd ordered 6 months worth, and then like that 6 months would only be 4 months worth, which means I needed to place the order almost immediately again and ship again. So I kept running out of stock. And the reason I was running out of stock is because I was too scared to order too much, because I didn't want it to be stuck in Amazon. And once I went to using the third-party logistics company, suddenly that was lifted, and I ordered far more stock, stopped running out of stock. My sales increased even more because I was continuously in stock. My BSR was much better.
Right.
And so it had this whole thing that I wasn't expecting, where, you know, this whole like bonus that I wasn't expecting and never thought about really. And that was probably the best thing to come about out of doing it, to be truthful.
This is a great idea, great setup. Yeah. Have to definitely figure out something like that, especially that Christmas is coming and the storage fees become crazy, you know, in the quarter four. So yeah.
Yeah. And the thing with my 3PL as well is the 3PL that I'm using is actually, well, it's not even a 3PL exactly. It's like a guy I met in China who's an American guy who owned a warehouse in the US, who was telling me he had some free space there. And since I started using it, I actually went to visit it the other day. It's in Dallas. Since I started using it, it's become a 3PL. They've now got 60 customers, but I was actually their second customer. And they basically said, they can't accept any more customers. They haven't got enough space anymore. So that's been really good. And the other thing about them is Christmas was actually their slowest time of the year.
Why so? Because everybody ships everything to Amazon, right?
Their main business was actually promotional goods. And basically they're saying, not many people doing like promotional things in quarter four of the year. Yeah. So like they're like pretty quiet in their warehouse. And they have their other big customer they had before me is diet products. And so that's really huge from January onwards.
Right. So it's great for you because they're not too busy to handle your products in Christmas, right?
Yeah, exactly. So in Christmas time, they're pretty good. So
this is great. Yeah, very nice setup. Well, I will not take too much of your time. I have 2 more minutes on our meeting schedule. So thank you very much for meeting with me. I'm very, very much looking forward to meeting you in China, and I'll come shake your hand personally and say thank you. And
no problem.
Yeah,
I'd like to know more about you. I don't know whether you want to tell me more now or offer the conversation.
So that could be more of a, I guess, one-on-one mastermind. I really like to talk about the topics. Like I said, I have a feeling that you are sort of almost ready to create your own something new, and that's like the most interesting conversation for me, and that's better done one-on-one, not publicly, because you're gonna be talking different ideas and masterminding. So I would totally be up for doing something like that with you.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
The thing I've got at the minute is I've got far too much work and not enough time. In fact, I'm just having a bit of a nightmare. My bank, while I was in America, I've just been in America for 7 weeks actually.
Okay. And everything got delayed now back in China.
Well, there was all of that. I mean, I hardly did any work while I was in America. Luckily enough, I've got a small team in the Philippines that handled most of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, basically I came back 1 week before I came back from the US. I got an email from my bank to tell me that they were closing my bank account. So right. now that's like my whole business bank account they're closing. So it's like they're like, oh, come and collect your money. We're closing your bank account.
So what are you gonna do next?
Well, I'm looking for a new bank account, but I haven't gone out and actually done the work yet because I've been going through what I need to provide, and obviously when you're going to a new bank, you need to provide a lot of stuff. So some of that stuff I didn't have, like they want contracts with your suppliers and stuff like that. I worked with a big multinational company before. Right. We rarely did contracts with our suppliers, like unless we were spending a lot of money or something like we needed to really protect our IP on. But anyway, so I need to sort out contracts with all of my suppliers to take to the bank, which are basically just for the sake of having a contract. So.
All right. Well, good luck with that. All the paperwork. I don't like that.
I know. It's also my end of year accounting as well. So.
Right. Okay. So for people who are watching, to sign up for your meetup, is there like a registration form? Do you have a limit, the cap, number of people that can attend? Is there something, or they just show up basically?
Basically, yeah, they can just show up there. So if you go to the bit where it says Canton Fair events, and just the third one down, Meetup. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one anyway. Opened yet, and basically you can just register here. It's got here, claim your free ticket, and it'll take you to Eventbrite to sign up. Basically, pick which event you want to go to.
Nice people are attending. Look at this Kevin that you mentioned.
yeah.
Right.
Lots and lots of.
And
famous people
and the other guys. Oh, Nick even came up.
Do you know Nick?
Right, he's my customer as well at Shopkeeper.
I know he is. Yeah, he keeps telling me about your software for the last 3 or 4 years, I think.
Right, yeah, because we are one of a few who support Japan, and and plus Japan, and he runs on all the marketplaces, so you can see very nicely side by side all of those stats. So he likes that.
Yeah, he runs on them all now. After I kicked him up the arse, yeah. When I met him, he was like, "Oh, why do I need to sell anywhere else? Japan's going so well." I'm like, "You're missing all this money from everywhere else."
Oh, it was you who convinced him. I see. Yeah, he's doing awesome right now. Yeah, he's good. All right. Well, thank you very much for meeting with me today, and no I'll talk to you soon. If not soon, then in China in October.
Yeah. See you in China.
See ya.
Catch you then.